Hello and welcome to Tricks of the S-Tray channel. Today is the 10th of June 2017, and in today's video we have Simone Biles. I hope I've got the name right. If I haven't, then you probably know, and you could probably just find out how the name is pronounced. I don't know if it's Simone or Simone, but I think it's Simone Biles. I think she's well, we'll call it a she for now until we get to show you that it's actually a he. And I really do have some sort of sympathy for Simone Biles because she's just 20 years old. And this is part of what I'm trying to always expose on the channel, that these people have taken young children and turned them into something that they don't, they shouldn't be, they ought not to be. So I have real sympathy for Simone Biles, but she's 20 years of age. She's reached an age of accountability in which he can make the decision to say, okay, I'm fed up with this. I'm just gonna tell the truth and call it for what it is. All right. So the name, the person that we're talking about in question is Simone Biles. Now I wanna give special thanks to a great sub of us whose name happens to be the scribe who's brought this to my attention. He mentioned a couple of other names, and we're still doing the checks just to make sure that we provide you with solid facts. But I just want to thank the scribe for bringing this to my attention. So this is the reason why you should never ever follow anybody blindly, because no matter how good and great the person is, kind-hearted, sincere, we are all human and we can make mistakes. Now, why am I saying that? I had taken a look at Simone Biles a couple of, let's say, weeks ago, just on the pass, and I thought she was female, and I passed it on. So when the scribe now asked me and said, have you taken a look at Simone Biles? I don't usually answer to comments like that, of the sort asking me to check on people, because I always try to make sure that as a subscriber, especially if you've been on this channel for a long time, you should have studied the document, and you should know the visual differences between male and female, and you should be able to check out or transvestigate anybody. That's what I expect from our subs, because the channel is basically trying to educate people, so I don't always answer to that kind of comments. I'll just refer you to the document and tell you, just okay, go ahead and take a look. But when the scribe said it, I don't know, for some reason, maybe because I'm kind of like, I like his comments. That's just the truth, because he's very concise and very precise. I kind of like his comments, so I was like, okay, I think she's female. But that was my first response. I said they're female. Then on the second thought, I told him, okay, hold on a second, let me go check this out and make sure that it is what I said, because usually if I try to make the real gender series, the real gender series goes through a lot of checks and balances just to make sure that we provide you with the most accurate information. If we don't have enough facts on the person, then we'll just let it get into a box that we can check later. So what usually happens before we get to the real gender series, when we're about to put somebody on and say yeah, then we go through another check, a second round of check. I double check myself and make sure that it is the person is the gender that they claim to be. So I want to thank the scribe for that. That's why I say you should never ever follow anybody blindly, no matter how much you love the person and adore the person, because at the end of the day, we are all human. We make mistakes. The only person who is infallible is God Almighty. So thank you, the scribe, for that. So if it's your first time on our channel, let's get back to the basics. All right, I want to welcome you to the channel. And if you haven't watched the primer video, I advise that you stop this video right here and go look for the primer video. Because if you don't watch the primer video, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is not going to make any sense to you. You're going to be asking questions or making comments when it's unnecessary, when probably the primer video has answered all those questions. So please, 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 if you haven't watched the primer video, go look for it, and I'll show you how to get to the primer video in a second. So let me show you how. So this is how you look. Let me just show you the primer video so you know what I'm talking about. So you go to the channel and look for this. You'll see primer. All right, and it's about 19 minutes long, but it's a deep conversation which will make you understand a lot of the stuff that I'm trying to say. So please, if you haven't watched the primer video, I suggest you do. And also, if you're gonna ask questions, all right, about trying to transvestigate, because like I always tell everybody, even though we feature a lot of transgenders on our channel, the channel is not a transgenders channel. That means the aim is not to show you transgenders or the people that we say are transgenders. The aim is to show you the power structure which makes transgenders possible, who actually rule the world from behind the scenes, and tell you the lies that it is Jews who run the world when it's always been the Vatican right from the get-go. Now, this particular Simone Biles video is like a part two of the video on Shakira. So if you haven't watched the Shakira video, I would I would I would please ask you to also watch the Shakira video before you watch it, because some of the things I'm gonna say on this Simone Biles video is like a continuation series of the Shakira video. So you need to also go take a look at a document which will show you the visual differences between male and female, because I expect anybody who gets on a channel within a week of staying with us, all right, to be able to transvestigate anybody. So you don't have to leave a comment and ask me, can you transvestigate this person? You can do it on your own. Okay, so here is the link. When you go to the video section, go to the description section of any video that you pick up on this channel. There's gonna be a link, right? If you're looking at my mouse at where I'm hovering, that's the link. When you click on this link, it will take you to a document. It's called Male versus Female Visual Differences. It would show you the visual differences between male and female. When you get up to speed on this document, I advise that you study the document. It's about 44 pages long, but I guarantee you it will take you 30 minutes because it just has a lot of pictures. If you study this document with every person that you pick up and try to transvestigate, this document will help you. And I'm always also telling you the things to look for, like I will be showing on this particular video, so you can know the male versus visual differences. So saying that now, I also have to say, as I always say on our channel, that we are not against transgenders. All right, we are not against anybody who tries to live the alternative lifestyle, as long as you're an adult and you say, okay, I want to live the fantasy or hoax of being of being in a sex or gender that's different from the gender or sex that I'm born with. It's a hoax. In effect, it's a fantasy, because when you get to a hospital, you're still going to be treated like the gender that you were born with, because a man will never have a womb. If you guys believe that, and the Vatican has made you believe that with all that propaganda that they try to shoot at you, then you should know you're very deluded. Okay, so the sex of a baby is determined at conception. The skeletal structure will never change. Anything else you do on top of it is just cosmetic. It's just like a woman putting on makeup. When the makeup comes off, you still find out that she is what she thought she wasn't before. All right, she's still the same person. So it's a hoax. So what we against here is trying to show to you, to make you understand that the people who run this world, which happens to be the Vatican, have a system in place which is given to taking young children before they can reach the age of making a decision. That means before they can be adults, to make that decision to say, okay, I don't want to live in a sex and gender that I was born with. Giving them that option. These children are taken, mutilated, castrated, as the case may be, fed hormones, and forced to live this kind of life in a gender and sex that's not theirs. There's so many of them. A lot of the people you see on TV, like Simone Biles, that I'm going to show you right here, you're going to see that. So we are not against transgenders. We have no authority to judge transgenders or anybody else, because God gave each and every one of us free will to live our lives any type of way, and he is gonna be the judge. He's the one who's the judge. But just because God's quiet doesn't mean that he likes what's going on. You get there is something that always happens before a storm. Is they call it the quiet before the storm. All right, the quiet before the storm. So if he's quiet and not judging anybody now, doesn't mean it's always gonna be that way. All right. So I want you guys to take note of that. So before we go into the video properly, there's some things I have to let you know. First of all, I'm going to be reading from the Bible. So if you do not like the Bible, all right, you hate it and you think that it's been tampered with, the Bible's been tampered with, but it's not been tampered in the way that we think it is. The Vatican wants you to believe that the whole Bible's been tampered with. The Bibles I recommend that you should read, I don't recommend that you should read any other Bible besides the two that I'm going to mention, is one, the Geneva Bible. You can either get the 1599 edition, which has the Apocrypha. It's written in some sort of olden days English, but you'll still understand it because it contains all the valuable notes which the early church reformers like Martin Luther and John Calvin, all right, translated. It contains cross references as well. That's the number one Bible that you should have. The Vatican doesn't want people reading that Bible. That's why they're making the King James Bible very, very popular. And King James Bible is the Bible that's read in almost every fake, deceiving church out there. Now, you can also read the King James Bible. Don't go for the one that says the New King James Version. So I want you to listen to me carefully. If you can get the 1611 edition of the King James Bible, it has olden days English in it, but you still understand. All right. It also has the 14 missing books, which is called the Apocrypha in it. Those are the only two Bibles I recommend that you should read, because the others have been tampered with or translated in such a way that it's lost the actual meaning from these two Bibles. All right. So that's what the two Bibles that I do recommend. So like I'm saying now, if you do not like Bibles, please stop the video right here and don't watch it anymore longer from this point on. Now, there are channel rules also in effect as usual. Channel rules implies that if you're gonna make a comment about someone and you say the person is transgender, you have to provide solid facts about calling that person a transgender. Because like I've usually said, the facts that define between a male and a female is that one skeletal structure, the female skeletal structure, is designed to give birth, right? And the male skeletal structure is not designed that way. So when you want to start your comments on giving facts, you have to give facts from that standpoint. And those defining facts, which define a female skeleton from a male skeleton, lies in the spine. Is there an arch in the back? All right, that means it's female. Is the hips, are the hip joints, the trochanter, all right, which juts out from a female's hips, are they below the crotch? Is the female pelvis tilted forward? That's all indication of females. Is the pubic arch on that female wide enough, 120 degrees or more for a female? Those are the things that defines a woman from a man. Everything else is subjective. You can use the subjective to more like what's the right word? I'm trying to find the right word. You can use the subjective, all right, to support the definitive. All right, the subjective is not the defining. Jaws, index fingers, and skull are not defining features of male over females. Everybody has that. The defining feature lies in the skeletal structure, in that one female, a female is designed to give birth and a male is not. So if your comments don't start with those defining features, not the subjective, I'm going to block it. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to delete it. All right? Because there are a lot of agents signed up as subs. All right? So I want to try to reduce troll comments or comments that don't make any sense, because this channel is dedicated, all right, to making people learn and understand your world. Like I've always said, I don't really care about the number of subscribers in the channel. What I care about is dedicated people, people who are dedicated to the truth. Because as I've said before, we cannot change the world no matter how dedicated and we want it to change, because it's not in our ability to change the world. Because take for example, Yehoshua died and the world hasn't changed. So what makes us think that we can change the world? We can't. We can only impact it. And that's what we're trying to do with this channel. So I need people who are dedicated to the truth, all right? Not just here for the channel just to watch and get entertained by it or get shock value from it, but dedicated to the truth so they can reach out to somebody else who's looking for it and share it. Okay? So that's what the channel is dedicated to. So before I get into Simone Biles properly, I want to show you something from Simone Biles' wiki page. All right, and here we are in Simone Biles' wiki page. You can go look for a wiki page and just read the official story. You'll find out here that the story talks about the fact that she, we'll just call him the she for now, but all right, that she was taken away from her mother, who couldn't take care of him because the mother was in drugs and all this stuff, which I actually think that the mother could have been a surrogate. This is just my 2 cents in. You don't have to believe me. I'm just trying to it's just like I'm thinking, just to give you answers on what I thought. So, but when you scroll down this particular web page and you go to the personal life of Simone Biles. Now, what is interesting, as I usually say here, they say that Biles is Catholic. Can you see that? If you're looking at my mouse. So every time I keep talking and telling you that it's the Vatican and not the so-called Jews who run the world, I'm showing you facts because I want you to see it with your eyes. It's not a coincidence. If you believe in coincidences, then you've been stumped. That's just the truth. All right? I'm showing you facts that is just Catholic. And like I've said before, I think I can refer you to the Real Gender series, the Real Gender Part 3 on our channel, which I talk about that the reason why a lot of people don't understand that it's the Vatican that runs the world is because the system of worldly power works by compartmentalization and diversion. All right? So, for example, I explained on the video that if Freemasons and everybody who's in any other like secret society or organization doesn't understand that, they put Jews. So when you go looking and trying to see who's at the top of it all, what you see are Jews because they hold the places of power and authority and control. But the true power is the Vatican, who puts them there, who makes Jews who makes Jews, it gives Jews those kind of positions. And unlike I've always said, being a Jew is not an ethnicity. It's more like somebody telling you that he's Christian and that becomes his ethnicity, or being a Muslim or Buddhist, that becomes your ethnicity. Your religion is not your ethnicity. Okay? So Jews are not an ethnicity, it's a religion. When you see the word Jew in your King James Bible or the Geneva Bible, the actual meaning means Hebrews, not Jews. Hebrews are an ethnicity. And like I've always stated in Amos chapter 9 verse 7 of the King James Bible, it shows you that these people were likened to Ethiopians, the Hebrews. And the Hebrews, if they were likened to Ethiopians, means that they were black on dark skin color, not the Jews that you see in Israel today. All right? So being Jewish is not an ethnicity, it's a religion, it's a practice. You're just merely practicing the 5 books of the law, the 5 books of the Torah, the 5 books written by Moses. That's all what it means. Okay? So that's what I wanted to show you from Simone Biles' page. And now, one thing that I'm going to talk about before I get into Simone Biles properly, is the fact that if you read, I'm reading the Bible now, because this is something that I see which a lot of people say, but they say it wrongly. They say that money is the root of all evil. The Bible never said that money is the root of all evil. It says the love, as you're following my mouse, the love of money is the root of all evil. Why is that important for you to know? Because a lot of people think that money is evil. Money is not evil. Even Yehoshua said so. That you're expected to be able to manipulate money. Otherwise, how is he going to be able to give you keys to the kingdom? That's what Yehoshua said. So money is not evil. It's the love of money. What's the love of money? Love of money falls into two things: greed and selfishness. Is that simple? When you're greedy, greedy meaning that you will do anything. You will sell your soul, the soul of your brothers and sisters, or the ones you love for money. Then that's your greed. That right there, you're being greedy, and that's the love of money. If you're selfish, means you're just used to stockpiling and never giving out to anybody else who needs, who you surely do know the person needs it. I'm not talking about people who fake the situations to make you give them something. I'm talking about real people who are in dire need. Then you're selfish. That falls into the love of money. All right? So I want to just to put that out there so people can understand that money is not the root of evil, but the love of it is. As you can see right now, I'm showing you. I remember I'm reading from the King James Bible. All right. So now let's something. I want to just talk about something that I saw when I went out. Oh, I think today I saw this T-shirt. I'm gonna show you the T-shirt. This T-shirt says no homophobia, no violence, no racism, no sexism. Yes, kindness. Yes, peace. Yes, equality. Yes, love. This is all. I'm gonna show you what I'm trying to say, but I want you to take a look at that picture, right? And we'll come back to it in a second. I'm gonna pull it to the side and show you something from the 25-point plan that the Illuminati, which is actually the Vatican, instilled through Adam Weishaupt, all right, to use to control and run the world again after the Protestant Reformation split up the Roman Catholic kingdom, all right. The Counter Reformation is what we are in right now, in which the Catholic kingdom is trying to gain back all the lands that it lost. It's what they call the New World Order. It's the same thing as saying counter the Protestant Reformation. Today, people don't even know what it means to be Protestant anymore, because all the churches and all the people you see on TV who preach to you are actually Freemasons. Freemasons under the guidance of the Vatican, misinterpreting the Bible for you so you don't actually understand what it means, or translating it in such a way that it loses its whole entire meaning. So you don't get it. These are people, Freemasons, infiltrating the real people who are supposed to be believers. All right. So now, the reason why I pointed this out, this particular picture, is because I wanted to show you from that 25-point plan. I'm going to read the 25-point number 8 so you can see where I'm going with this. It says, advocate the use of alcoholic liquors, drugs, moral corruption, and all forms of vice used systematically by agentors to corrupt the youth. Now, why I paid special attention to this was because if you listen to a lot of music and a lot of videos that you watch, it's filled with so much derogatory nonsense. Now, while growing up, I was never a fan of hip hop. So when I heard people like maybe Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls rap, I wasn't really a fan of hip hop. It's only after these dudes died that I started listening to hip hop and liking it. But after a while, if you notice, hip hop today is so filled with nonsense. Music in general, not just hip hop, is filled with so much garbage it stings to the high heavens. Why is that? Because the Vatican has made sure that the music industry spills garbage to corrupt the young. It's from music that people learn how to do drugs. Like you hear people like maybe like what's his name again? I'm trying to recall because I've lost all their names now. What's his name? Rick Ross saying he takes a Molly, or Future saying he takes a Molly, or people like ASAP Rocky talking about they sip on Molly, or people like people like what's I'm trying to recall this guy's name again right now. He raps a lot. What's his name? I can't forget his name, but I can't remember his name. Sorry, but he's from Compton. He's a new kid on the block. He's had like 2 or 3 albums. I don't quite remember his name. He's talking about drinking, drank, or something like that. Then you hear all this. All this is trying to corrupt the minds of the young. Because why is the Vatican so much interested in the youth? Is because if they can corrupt the youth at an early age, by the time they get old, they won't have any power or any knowledge or know anything to stand up to the Vatican. So all this is properly planned, so the Vatican doesn't have any problems with his new world order. Does it make sense? So another article that I wanted to read to you is from the 25-point plan, is actually line number 24. Now, if you're interested in reading this, you can pause the video and copy out that link right there. All right, copy out this link, paste it in your browser, and so you see what I'm saying. Now it says on number 24. It says, "Fool, bemuse, and corrupt the younger members of society by teaching them theories and principles we know to be false." Can you see that? So that's how this picture over here came up. No homophobia, no violence, no racism, no sexism. Yes, kindness, yes, peace, yes, equality, yes, love. Right? Why am I saying this? Like I've said earlier before, the idea that we can change the world is from the pits of the devil himself that the Vatican is being led by. None of us can change the world. And I gave you an example that Yehoshua, who died for the sins of the world, his death 2,000 years ago, hasn't changed the world. So what makes us think that we as mere mortals can do so? We can only impact the world, not change it. So then get sucked into all this nonsense in which the Vatican is trying to tell you that you can change the world, because all of these things that they're listing here, the Vatican is on top of it. Homophobia, homosexuality, violence, racism, sexism, they are the ones instigating all this. And why they're instigating all this? Because they're going to use this to create more laws to bind people to the New World Order and the Vatican, to bind you to make slaves. Nobody can solve homosexuality, because homosexuality in the first place is a problem. And they're now trying to, the problem that they started and made public by making you see homosexuality in music, in movies, in imagery, in everything around you. Is it possible? The Vatican instigated all this. They are the forerunners of all of this. They're only using this, all right, to tie people to the New World Order. And you have to understand that the times that we live in is like the times of the harvest, in which the crops, right, will mature and the weeds will also mature. Because that's what Yehoshua said. Let the good and the bad, right, grow. So now all this is feeding the weeds. All right? So because there's going to be a clear demarcation, because between who's actually for Yehoshua and those who are not for him, by all these things. That's just fact. So don't get sucked into it, thinking that you can change the world. All right? You cannot change the world. You can only make impact. The only person who can change the world is God Almighty, the Father. All right? Yehoshua came to show us how to make impact in our world, not to change it. Because change is of God. That's just the truth. All right? So, like I've said earlier, don't get sucked into, because a lot of people have tried and thought that they could change the world. People like, for example, through music or songs, people like Michael Jackson, for example, would sing, talk about change the world or what's it. It's all nonsense. It can't even change. And you have to understand that the later part of Michael Jackson's life, I mean, he's the only Freemasonic dude who actually knew that something was wrong, because he was trying to say in one of his videos that they've changed history, they put nonsense in the history books, but he himself doesn't even know who the real Illuminati was, even though he was an Illuminati himself, a Freemasonic member. Because if you're going to be on the world stage, you have to be a Freemason. That's just the way it works. But even Michael Jackson, in his own case, because there's a strata of Freemasons. There's a strata in the Illuminati. Not everybody knows who's at the top or who they're working with or who they're working for. Because, like I said, the system works on the diversion and compartmentalization. So you don't know, because it is not yet time, right? The Vatican's work is not yet done. It hasn't arrived at the pinnacle of its power. When it does, it will let the whole world know that it was always the one behind the scenes. Now is not the time. All right? So people, please don't get sucked into all this, all right? By all these crazy slogans. I wanted to let me show you something like from this particular page again, so you can actually see when they say they're going to be using this kind of slogans to change the world. Okay, hold on a second. So if you read number 17 on that 25-point plan of which the Vatican is using under the guise of the Illuminati around the world. I also had a video. I think the video was I'm trying to recall. The video was Sophie Trudeau, in which I pasted the Protocols of Zion, which is actually a Vatican document. I explained that. You can also watch that video if you're really, really interested. But I want to show you the number 17-point plan here, the 17 point on the agenda, which says use systematic deception, all right? High sounding phrases and popular slogans. Can you see that? Right? It says use systematic deception, high sounding phrases and popular slogans. The opposite of what has been promised can always be done afterwards. That is of no consequence. It's from that kind of slogans that you have this kind of picture. All right? This kind of t-shirt right here. And you hear other slogans is like when Obama came in and saying change, we can make change. Then Trump now is at another level. He's going to take America back to what it's supposed to. All those slogans are nonsense. This is what they're following, a step-by-step plan here to deceive you. And you're falling for it. Okay? So keep your brain sharp all the time. Don't get fooled by these Jesuit Freemasons, all right, who are all working for the Vatican to make the new world order possible, all right? So with that said, we're about to get into Simone Biles. And before I get into Simone Biles, I usually like playing this clip so you can know where a female's hip is supposed to be at. Because under normal circumstances, I'm not saying this is normal for everybody, for every female. The hip is supposed to be the widest part of a woman's body, because she's designed to give birth. Okay? And the hips are always below the crotch, as you're gonna see. Standard anywhere in the world. That's how female clothes are measured. The design of the hips, all right? The widest point in that cloth, which is supposed to be the hip, is below the crotch of a female. So I played a video. See that? That's a female flaring downwards, right? She's spreading as it goes downwards because of a wider pubic arch, which is 120 degrees or more for a female. Males don't have a wide pubic arch. It's 90 degrees or less for a man. All right? And everything is inside the woman. It's protected inside because a baby is going to be carried inside the womb. So the hips are because of the wide pubic arch, the hips are further spread out so as not to interfere with childbirth. And it's always going to be below the crotch. The hips of a male is above the crotch because the genitals of a man needs to stay outside the body. So it needs to be outside the body temperature for it to operate optimally. Okay? So the widest point on a woman's body is the hips below the crotch. As you're going to see this lady measure a tape round to show you how where the hips at. See where the tape goes round there? Right? See that? That's the widest point in a female's body, below the crotch. Okay? Now this female is going to turn around so you can actually see where the hips at in comparison to the bum line. See where it's at there? See, the widest point right there is below the crotch, just before the bum line of a female. All right? That's what I want you to take notice of. Then I want to refer you to a document again. All right? This is a document which I say you should have handy at every point in time so you can actually know. You can do the transvestigating on your own instead of asking me questions. All right? If you run into problems, then you can let me know. But besides that, I expect that you guys should be able to do your own transvestigation, because I want you to be educated so you can educate someone else and educate your kids if you're interested and you want to live your life right according to what the Word of God says or what the Bible says. So we scroll down this. There's a female on my left, all right, and a man on my right. To my screen. A female always has an arch in her back. That arch is going to be shaped like a C. I keep saying that word, a C or an S, depending on where you're drawing the arch from. All right. A man's back is always going to be straight. A man's back, if he wants to arches outside like a D or a P, but it's always going to be straight into the pelvis. A female's arch will always be C-shaped into the pelvis. All right. A female has a tilted pelvis forward, so the baby can stay inside the womb and not drop out. A man has a straight pelvis because he doesn't need to be pregnant. All right. Now the reason for a woman's arch in the back is because she's supposed to carry children. So the arch is like extra support to carry the weight of pregnancy and her body weight without not having problems. So we scroll further into the document to show you that a female always has an arch in the back. Here is a female right here. If a female bends, the back is going to bend more. If she bends to the outside, the back is going to bend more than a male's back because of that arch. It's always going to be a C-shaped arch a C. All right? I scroll forward down again to show you that it doesn't matter how or what the female looks like. All right? Pardon, my pictures are loading up. So it doesn't matter if the female is big or small. There is a small lady to my right and there's a big one to my left. And as you can see, the pelvis is still tilted forward and there is an arch in the back, a C arch in the back. Doesn't matter if she's big like this female, a C arch and a tilted pelvis slanting forward. All right? It doesn't matter if the female's got muscles like I'm showing with this muscular females. There's still going to be an arch in that back shaped like a C. All right? Arch in the back shaped like a C. Okay? There's always going to be an arch in the female's back. So with that said, we get into Simone Biles to show you what's wrong with Simone Biles. Can you see that's a straight back? I'm going to try. Let me see if I can rotate this picture so you can see that. See that? That's a straight back. See that? Straight back. The back of a male. I pity this poor boy, but this is what the Vatican does. That's why he was able to win so many medals. One of the highest number of medals ever won, if not the most, in an Olympic gymnast competition. This Simone Biles holds that record. Is because it's a boy beating up on girls. That's why it was so quick, so fast. Because as a male, males have more muscular development. All right? They have more testosterone in their body than females naturally. That's why. So some more pictures of Simone Biles. Look at that again. See that? It's a straight back. There's no arch in that back. Straight. Even though it's trying to curve, see where it's curving all the way, but it's straight. A woman's back is not going to be that way. There's going to be a deep arch right there before it hits the pelvis. The bum area is the pelvis. But Simone Biles, you don't see none of that because this is male. Okay? Don't worry about the makeup. Don't worry about the smile, right? Trying to divert your attention. All right? This is a dude. And look at the neck. Now, why am I using all the subjective facts right now? Because people make the mistake of looking at the subjective fact. The definitive, right, defines the subjective. It's not the other way around. The subjective facts don't define the definitive. Does it make sense? Okay. Some more pictures of Simone Biles. And here's Simone Biles with another of gym mates. We'll look that up as well for now. But for now, you can see Simone Biles has a straight back. That's the back of a male. That's my back. All right? Trying to diverge you with the smile and face. But this is a dude right here. Straight back into the pelvis. No arch. Some more pictures. Look at that again. See that? Straight back. And see how it's so straight now? And look at those hands. See how huge those hands are for a female of this size and this height? See that? Straight, straight, straight in huge hands. I'm using the subjective now because I've defined the definitive. People go after this instead of looking at the defining features. We define a male on a female because a female is designed to give birth. The skeletal structure is designed to give birth. All right? Okay, some more pictures of Simone Biles. And look at that. Straight back. See that? Straight right there. There's no arch. Straight. I'm trying to blow this up as much as I can. See that? Straight. Straight back. That's my back. Oh, goodness. This is what the Vatican does best. And look at Simone Biles again. A straight back. Straight back. The back of a man. All right? Some more pictures again. Look at that again. Straight back. And see where he likes keeping those hands. That's a man's comfort zone. Those are where I'm comfort at. I'm not saying that a female can do this, but your body's not going to be arrested. It's going to be awkward after a while. But if you're a man, this is where your comfort zone is to put your hands at. And look at the hips of Simone Biles. Where's the widest point right there? It's not below the crotch because this is all muscle, as you can see. You can't even see the Q angle. The hips are straight. It's not jutting out. The widest point is right here, above the crotch for a man. All right, some more pictures. Look at that again. Can you see that? Straight back. That's the pelvis. Straight back. That's my back because this is a man. Okay? Some more pictures. Look at that hip again. Where's the widest point? Can you see that? Can you see that? And see how narrow the hips are. Because like I've said earlier, a man's pubic arch is 90 degrees or less. A female's pubic arch is 120 degrees or more so that a baby can come out of the womb. See how narrow this is? Because this is a man. Look at the comfort zone on where he puts his hands at. Because that's a man. Can you see any hourglass figure? A woman will have the slightest hourglass figure no matter what body shape she has. There's gonna be a slight one. And look at the hips. Can you see any of the hips right there? Because this is me standing. This is a dude. Some more pictures. Don't let the fake smile and makeup fool you. That's why you can make role models of people you see on TV. Because these people are all manufactured by the Vatican to be on TV to deceive you. To paint a false sense of reality, a false perception of your world, so you can go down the road that the devil wants you to. The devil is going to make everything comfortable for you in this world as long as you're following him to the next one, which is hell or the lake of fire. Make sense? Don't fall for this. All right? Look at Simone Biles again, straight back with her co-gymnast. We are going to take a look at this also to make sure that it is what it appears to be. We'll give you some feedback sooner or later. But look at Simone Biles right now. It's a straight back. That's my back. The back of a male. There's no arch in that back. It just goes straight, boom, into the pelvis. All right. Look at that again. Where are the hips right here? What's the widest point on these hips? Can you see anything? Because this is a man. See how straight it is. All right. This is Simone Biles. I pity the poor boy. But he should speak up. He has a brain. Speak up and say, I was born a man. Free yourself. Don't follow the Vatican all the way down to hell. Look at that again. Where's the pelvis right here? Where's that hip? See how narrow the pelvis width is? Because this is a dude. Don't let the fake smile fool you. It's been fooling a lot of people and beating all those poor females in the gymnast competition and taking all their medals, like he's hanging one right here. The Vatican is sick and twisted. It is horrible. Look at what they're doing to children. Kids, he's just 20 years old. That's exactly what I'm trying to show you guys. All right? So it doesn't just look like I'm just talking from my butt or whatever. I'm showing you facts of how deep the Vatican is. If they can do this to kids, young children who don't know anything left or right, what do you think they're going to do to you? What do you think they're doing to you? Okay. Just a picture of Simone Biles with her friends, and I'm still showing you the straight hips. And look at the widest point, even when it's standing. See the widest point on that hip right there is above the crotch. It's not below it as it should be for a regular female, because this is male. This is the body of a man, not that of a woman. All right, some more pictures. Look at that again. Straight back, as you can see. Straight back into the pelvis. See, this plane is straight right here. Straight into the pelvis. Deceiving you with, exfoliation on the skin and making it look lovely and someone's gonna look at this and fall in love and say, I love Simone Biles, but you're looking at a dude. Don't make no role models. Don't fall in love with people on TV. All right? Don't have crushes. You don't know what you're looking at. Okay? This is a dude. All right? Look at that again. Same picture. Still there. Straight back. Well, I've come to the end of today's video, and that's all I have for you guys. I hope you learned something, and subscribe. If you don't like the video, please don't leave any comments. When people watch bad videos, when you go to like Redbox or anything and you pick up a bad movie and you watch it, you don't go looking for the maker of the video to leave comments on how bad the video was and what they should have done right. Just because you have the ability to leave comments here, don't leave ridiculous ones. If I watch a stupid video, what I usually do is I just leave it and go home. I don't go out making comments about it. So if you don't like the video, don't leave any comments. And channel rules are still in effect. Before you label someone a transgender, you must talk about the defining features that distinguish between a female and a male, in the fact that a female skeletal structure is designed to give birth and the male skeletal structure is not, and those structure lies in the hip and the spine and a tilted pelvis. Any other things that starts with a subjective comment of index fingers, jaw lines, long hands, shoulder ratios, hip ratios, all that nonsense that you've been fed from other ridiculous Jesuit Vatican agent channels on YouTube is not allowed here. Those comments will be deleted and you will be removed and blocked from making further comments. All right? So thank you guys, all you great subs out there. I just want to thank you. And I'll leave you with these words as I usually say. Look with your eyes and see with your brain. Thanks and bye-bye.